Hey everyone, it's Louisa Tanner Munson from Feel Good Astrology, and I am joined here with my really great friend Jay Atkinson, who I'm going to bring on let's bring her on now. In fact, I can see her sat in the green room looking beautiful as ever. I can also see we've got a few people listening in, so welcome to the show. That's great. Hey Jay, how are you?
Right hand, left hand. Oh God, I can't. Yes,
It doesn't matter.
This discussion, haven't we?
Yeah,
Oh,
everything's
good,
with
thanks.
these
Yeah,
videos.
all good. I've just last week. No, not last week. Was it? It was 2 weeks ago now. It's gone so quickly. It's brilliant. I had a lot of good feedback from that session from people, and just really loved it and really enjoyed it, and thought, it was so good if we get more people on board, and this can be a safe place for people to kind of come out of the closet a little bit. And I don't mean in that way. Well, yeah, in that way if you want to. But a safe place where people can talk about things that they maybe can't talk to other people about. I get this a lot, actually. I can talk to you, Jay, but I can't tell my family or my friends. They'll think I'm crazy. I'm like, well, I already am, so it's okay. Yeah.
Well, I can see we've got people joining us more and more as each minute goes. So first of all, I just want to welcome you all. Let us know where you're coming in. We've got a few messages, so I'm going to flash those up in a minute. But before we do, I just wanted to kind of talk through what this is about, really. This is about us being of service, isn't it, Jay?
Yes.
And it's also about us being of service to help out. If you have a question, if you've got something on your mind, you want us to tune in and see what comes up or through, then we're here to be of service. I really defer like Jay has been working as a channel for years and is really, really wonderful. And I really appreciate her skills. And I'm seeing this as me being slightly tucked under her wing as I'm coming into my own. I do channeling in a kind of different way. I'm not used to doing it in this ad hoc way, but you've got experience from the Barefoot broadcast days, haven't you? Doing stand-up channeling. So
your lovely husband to thank for that, because he gave me a platform and my confidence really to do it, because obviously I started off many years ago, and I used the usual crystals, cards, blah, blah, all the usual things. And then I realized that they were asking me, you need to do this and just go cold with it. And I'm like, no, don't think so. But I did it. And it was just amazing. It just feels so good, because when you connect with your heart, it's just the best feeling in the world. It's such a buzz. So yeah, that's what my life is now.
That's right. And we are coming up to a new moon, which is taking place tomorrow. It's 5:34 p.m. UK time. I don't know what time it is where you guys are around the world. I know we've got a couple of people definitely listening in America, one in New York, one in Texas. We've also got someone just down the road in Portugal. So we've got this new moon coming in, and it's a time of new opportunities. It's also a time of new intuition, because it's a new moon in Pisces. And so maybe later on, if we get a lull, maybe you and I can talk about how people can tune up their own skills. How's that sound?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, do it. Because, we can't do it all.
Exactly.
That's not what we're here for. We're just catalysts,
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's just welcome people in, and then what I'd like, if you're happy, Jay, could you kind of open the session with a bit of a clearing for us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Let's just say hello to a few people who are brave enough to say, here I am.
Hello,
So we've got Moaz returning. Hi, Moaz. So he's saying boa noite. That's Portuguese for good evening, Louisa and Jay. We've got Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? She's saying, hi, Louise. Hi, Jay. So much love to you both, and a big kind of smoochy heart. Love that. We've got Jackie Grant just from down the road. Hi, Jackie. Good evening. Hopefully we'll catch up soon in the week ahead. That would be lovely. We've also got Margaret Maggie Reed joining us, saying, when we lose connection with our hearts, what can we do? So question.
Brilliant question, because that happened to me this week, actually. So yeah,
Really?
we'll go on to that one in a minute.
Okay. Well, Jay, would you like to open this with a bit of a clearing cleanse for us? Get us really in a sort of light and
in the
warm.
zone. Let's get into the zone. I'm not sure where my head's going at the moment. I feel a bit weird. Right. Okay. So basically, I just kind of zero in on just your breathing, really. So just, if it feels right, just place your hands over your heart, or what I call the higher heart, which is the thymus, and just quietly breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, just a couple of times. And just feel the peace of going nowhere and doing nothing just for this hour. This is your time, your space, and our space to share in so much love. And as you breathe, just imagine that that beautiful heart of yours is a golden ball. And when you feel your heart, you can feel it warming up, because if you think of someone that you love, or something that you love, it can be your animal, your pet, your granny, your grandchild, your mum, your dad, it can be anyone, or any situation that has caused you to feel as if your heart expanded. So just breathe into that, as if your heart is smiling, and just feel your heart just smiling in a big golden ball smile. And then radiate that out, and imagine that that beautiful ball of light is casting out rays, and it's reaching everybody on this planet that is doing the same thing right now. Doesn't matter if it's one of us, two of us, or a million of us. It always works. This is how you open your heart. And in that connection, I call upon the Divine Mother of all creation to bring so much love into the hearts of everyone here this evening that connects with Louisa and I. We're all connected. There is no separation. And just feel that lovely glow. I send it all to you. I can feel all of you there. And I'm so grateful for you being here with us too. And I know Louisa is as well. And in the spirit of love, let's now join and chat. Bless everyone.
Thank you very much for that, Jay. That was beautiful. And that brought up some emotion for me. I'm sure it did for other people. Somebody in one of my shows recently said, good grief, when you invoke some kind of love or healing light, the bots find you and you start to get spammed. And just as I open my eyes, there's loads and loads of like spam messages in the chat room. So could you start by answering Margaret Maggie Reed's first question while I just go and block this bot? Let me just because I don't think we want naked HD.xl XYZ online strips without clothing.
No, I'm not sure. Could be interested. No, I don't think we do either. It's not the place.
Margaret Maggie Reed wants to ask, when we lose connection with our hearts, what can we do?
Yeah, right. Now, I would just say it depends how you lose that connection, because some people can feel really great for a while, and then some people can just crash and burn. I did it this week, and I live in my heart pretty much all of the time, but there was a situation that came up for me and I lost the plot, and I allowed myself to rant and rave as I'm mopping the floor and killing somebody in my mind. I don't mean that, I wouldn't hurt a fly, but I allowed myself to feel the grief of the situation that was bugging me. And I spoke to the person concerned, even though they're no longer here, as if I was speaking to somebody that was real, because, well, they are real, to me they are anyway, because there is no death. And then once I'd allowed myself to feel those feelings, I then asked myself, I said, who am I really? Is that what I really want to be? And do I want to stay there? And I thought, no, I don't. That doesn't make me feel very good. So I thought, well, I can't feel good right now. What can I do? And I thought, what's the next best thing to where I'm at now in this, And I thought, you know what? I just want to sit and do nothing. I just want to sit, almost like a defiant toddler. So I went and sat and did nothing. And then after about 2 seconds, I was bored of that. And I thought, well, what do I want now? Well, do you know what? I'm going to go make a nice cup of coffee, and I'm going to put cream in it. And I'm going to put swirls and sprinkles and everything else in it. It was almost like in defiance. And I allowed that to happen. And then I ended up laughing at myself. But in that process, it was like alchemy, because I didn't want to stay in the bad feeling, because that doesn't do anyone any good. But it's great to get it out of your system, because it is part of who we are. We're not all love and light all the time, no matter how hard you try. And so then I just sat down, and I can't remember what I asked for help. This is what I personally do. And I just prayed and I said, whoever's listening to me, I need you. I need you to help me, because I'm finding it hard. I'm struggling to get over these feelings, and I don't want to be here. I just want some peace in my heart. And the weirdest thing is, the phone rang and it was a friend, and something happened and something happened and something happened. And gradually I could feel my heart again. And that's just one way, but there are thousands of ways, and it just depends. As I say, I'd love to know what Margaret means by, and how she lost, if she has lost her connection, because it's more specific that way. And when we can work with people one-on-one, which is difficult here, I know, we can get more to the heart of the problem as to why the heart has suddenly gone, don't want to be, because it's just a reaction to being hurt usually, or it's a fear. And you can get through it really easily. There's lots of ways, depending on what it is that's caused your heart to close off temporarily. But don't worry, because it always comes back. And Margaret, I know just by tuning into you that you have got a beautiful heart. And I also know that whatever it was that caused your heart, or at some point to go like that, it almost contracts. It's just a mechanism that you use to protect you, and it's okay. It's okay. You can stay in there and hold your heart. And that's one of the things you can do as well, is to see your heart as the little child and go inside and say, it's okay. I'll stay with you. You can be as closed off as you like, but I'll sit with you while you do. And I'm tingling while I'm saying all this, by the way. So I feel it's like it's coming from the heart of something good here, to say your heart is always there, and it's always going to be there while it's beating in your chest. And all you have to do is just connect with it and say, what is it that you want? What can we do to make us happy? There's loads of ways. So you never lose your connection. Never.
I love that. I love that. In fact, Margaret Maggie Reed might actually be connected again, because immediately after your meditation, she said, "Love me." But I think it's a good question, and I'd like to talk a little bit. I am aware of a few people in my community who've just lost somebody, as it died, and Jay, I loved what you said. Like there is no such thing as dying, but from our perspective here, we experience loss. And I'm attending a funeral tomorrow, a remote one, and I'm wondering how best to be. And my good friend said, Because I was thinking about the loss, and I was thinking about my friends, who are the parents, and I was thinking from the space of loss and upset, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And my good friend said it's important to connect to peace
Mm.
as much as possible and allow the peace to spread so that other people can feel peace too. And it reminded me of Carl and I, Mr. Munson, as some of you might know him, or Mr. M. We follow Chuck Spezzano, who does these lovely little updates once a month. We often zone out actually while we're listening. We have to listen to him a few times. Something about him, I don't know, his message, it has to be listened to a few times. But he often says that when we feel disconnected, the best way to reconnect is to go straight into service.
Mm.
So, like, we can try and fix it in ourselves, and I agree with Jay, to go inside and look after your heart and also do something for yourself. And yet often when we feel disconnected, the last person we actually want to gift is ourselves. We're really rubbish at doing that often. And so now, like Chuck Spezzano said, if you're hurting, there is somebody around you that's hurting more, because we're all connected. And if we're feeling something, then we know that someone that we're connected to must be feeling something too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I know that sounds really rubbish, to be of service and to help someone else when you're going through something.
Mm.
But it really gets me out of the upset.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a right or a wrong way, because I think everybody, it's like I had a situation this week where somebody was saying to me about they'd had a bereavement in very close to them, and it was like, I don't want to talk about it, don't want to talk to anyone, don't want to, and they've kind of gone into their cave, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But it's like, and I said, it's absolutely fine that you're doing that, because everybody has their own way of grieving. Everybody has a unique way of dealing with whatever it is. And I think, again, going back to what we were talking about the last time, every situation is okay. People, we tend to compare ourselves with, I've heard people say, oh, I can't have loved them because I'm not crying, I'm not grieving, I haven't shown any emotion. And that is just as much grief as crying is, so all of it's okay. And I would just say, just be present as authentically as you can. If you feel like crying, then cry. And if you feel to hold the space of love for everyone else, then do so. But whatever it is, just know that you're holding that beautiful space of love as a mother, a wife, and a beautiful woman. You're here to hold that space of love, and this is our job at the moment, and that is us being in service. And that doesn't mean, I mean, service to me is a little bit of a funny one, because I've done it for a long time, and sometimes being in service actually means that you're kind of dissonant from your own issues, because you're dealing with your own issues through other people. So that's something you have to be aware of. But I think hopefully when you get through a lot of those things and you've come through things, you realize that I personally now feel, whatever I am and whoever I am, I have to do this. I have to be out. This to me is a lifeline once a fortnight, because I'm now being here doing what I came to this planet to do. And there's no other way I can do it right now. So for me, it's a pure joy. So anything that got in my way today or yesterday, I was thinking, it's all right. Louisa and I are meeting up, and everybody can chat, So yeah, there is joy in service as well. Totally.
Oh, thank you for that. We've got so many more people saying hello to us. Family Munson, that's Carl, saying hola, boa noite. This beautiful. I think he's referring to your lovely thing. Moaz is saying that was moving. It really was.
That's lovely.
Those bots are back, but Carl is dealing with those behind the scenes. Now we've got a comment from Jackie Grant. The timing for this, for me, is just perfect. I asked the universe for guidance recently, and the answer came almost immediately. I now understand so much more about what I need to do. Oh, Jackie, I'd love to know what it is you're going to be doing. Let us know.
Let us know. And if it's something we want to do as well, we'll do it with you.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, We still don't have any more questions, so I'm going to leave it. There's a bit of a love in, people are chatting with each other in the chat room, which is always
Well,
very nice.
that's
Um,
good.
and I think there's a definite value to that because people are supporting each other. And
Yeah.
so, yes, if we're thinking in terms of supporting each other and doing it for ourselves, what would you say is the first step in tuning in? Like, if we go back to the beginning for you, Jay, when you first realized that you were channeling Solomon,
Hmm.
how did that happen? Were you channeling before that?
Yeah,
What
I was doing
first
quite a bit
thought?
before that. I was kind of doing readings, and I was not very confident at all in my own ability or anything, and I'd gone through a lot of stuff prior to that in my teenage years, and I was awakened very early.
Mm,
Although I wasn't doing anything much, I was aware of me as a soul as well as a human being,
mm,
but for many years, I feel I was in training. So I had a bit of a strange life to live and all the experiences of that brought. But then my mum went to a healing sanctuary when I was about 17. And she had a lot of issues and problems. And she said to me, Will you come with me? And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I don't like anything like that. I was a bit wary of it all. And I went along, and the lady that ran the sanctuary said to me, are you aware you have a writing gift? And I said, no. Because I used to love writing. I've always loved any time I could pick up a pen or a crayon. And so it kind of developed from there. And she actually asked me if I would, and this is where it goes back to, you've just reminded me, so thank you for that. Irene said to me, look, she said, I'm very busy, and I was trained as a secretary as well. She said, I need somebody to answer the letters that come to me because I can't do all of it. Would you mind? And I said, I was terrified. I thought, how can I answer people's questions? Like anybody on here coming and answering a question. At 18 years old, I was being asked to answer people's personal problems. So I didn't know what to do. So I sat in front of this little old typewriter, and I just had these letters, and I just read them as if I was reading the letters from a friend, and my heart just expanded. And I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. This poor lady, what she's going through, or this poor man, or what can I say to that? And suddenly these words would just come in, and I just typed what I felt. It was just from my heart, as I would speak to a friend. And I believe that that's how you do connect. I feel that the connection for anyone at any time is always from a desire to do something, or to feel good. It's a desire to actually give something. I'm not saying that's for everyone, but it was for me. And it was just like I felt this compassion for these people. I was absolutely terrified of, and I used to take these letters and I'd type them all out, and I'd take them down to like a little, minion, and go, I don't know if this is any good, but you can change it. And she used to read them at that time and say, that is absolutely brilliant. And I later learned that she was as terrified as I was of answering the letters, but she used to say to people, I couldn't have put it as well as that. Now, I didn't feel it was me. I felt that there was something coming through into the writing. So I was channeling love into the writing. And then later on, they came to me and said, we want you to speak. And I'm like, mm-mm. No, I'm not doing that.
yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. But of course, then I started talking to people, and then I started doing tentatively playing with a few little cards, not particularly tarot, because I'm not very good at the original tarot. I found it a little bit scary for me. So I went to nice fluffy bunny cards, and did that sort of thing. But I found that I was just looking at them and then just looking and saying what came into my heart. And
Mm,
I believe that there are so many of us, so many of you out there that are ready to do this stuff. It's just confidence. And I believe that we have a forum here where people can come in and test this out, and we'll say, yeah, great, do it. If you've got a feeling to do it, then go and do it. There's no time like the present. Everybody has a gift that's unique to them. you know
mm.
Try everything until you find that slot where your key fits. you know just I don't know,
Yeah.
rambled a bit there, but yeah, it's
No, that was really, really great. We've got a question from Jackie, and I'll pop it up there in just a second. I love, I think that's amazing how you were called into service. Like somebody recognized it in you,
Yeah,
recognized the
yeah,
maturity, the love, the heart connection, the sensitivity. You know, you were seen. So, you know, somebody was there. It was almost like
yeah.
somebody had come in to guide you into being in that
Oh,
way. I love that a lot.
that's amazing. It was just being seen, I think, that opened my heart, you know, and I think now I feel that's my mission, you know, if you want to call it that, is to just to make anybody I come across, whoever it is, feel that I've seen their soul and I know who they really are because they're beautiful.
Oh,
No, they really are. And it doesn't matter what you dress in, what you look like, whether you've got a Ferrari or you've got a skateboard. I don't really care. None of those things matter to any of us, not really, because we can't take them with us. But it's what your soul speaks. And when you get more proficient, or not proficient, when you've been doing this a while, you get more sort of attuned to um, how it works. And so you can tune in more quickly to people and to energy. It's not that I'm better or you're better or anybody's better. It's just that I've been doing it more. So it's like if you did a lot of knitting, you'd be quicker than me. It's
yeah,
just the same thing, you know, there's no
yeah.
secret to it. Just,
Right. Well, you started to actually answer Jackie's. Before I do that, I just want to apologise publicly to Moaz because poor old Moaz. While I was blocking our naughty troll, I accidentally blocked him, and now I don't know how to unblock him. So, Carl, if you are there and you have his email address, please drop it in. Or Moaz, if you send me a message, it's Louisa Tanner Munson at gmail.com. I will look out for a question from you. So I really wholeheartedly apologize. In the
oh,
meantime, let's we've got Jackie's question here. I need to learn how to channel seriously. I'm a visionary artist who unintentionally painted her own spirit guide. Oh, I'd love some advice and help to open up more.
oh, wow, Jackie, that's amazing. I mean, you're already doing it. You know, if I can just say that, you are already doing it. And there's nothing more serious than painting your own spirit guide. And if it, you see, I paint as well. I'm not a serious painter, but I do love doodling and watercolors and paints. And I find that zones me in, and you'll find it too. When you're painting, you just lose yourself in the and you just are zoned in. And that is the best time to ask a question. If you want, you could what you could do is what I do sometimes is to ask the question of your guide or God, the mother, whoever it is that you relate to, you know, in the everywhere, and say, I'm gonna tune in now. I'm gonna go and do some painting. I want you to talk to me while I'm doing it. And then as you're doing it, ask questions and you will get answers immediately. And sometimes you'll get answers in a way that you never even expected, you know. And they will give you more. I'm feeling you expanding from the heart more into much more of who you are, and your paintings carry your vibration. So you already are channeling, but there are so many ways of channeling. Some it's like I do and Louisa does, which is talking and tuning in and using our words, and other people use music or, you know, reading or writing, and you're using visionary art, which I think is absolutely amazing. Because I'm a visual person. Some people love words, and which I do, but I learn visually much more quickly when there's something in front of me I can look at. So I think I'm tingling like mad as I'm talking to you, Jackie, and I feel you're already tuned in. You really truly are. You just need to be made aware of that fact. You're already doing it. And just open your heart every time you go to do a painting, or just say, I want to paint something beautiful. And somebody somewhere will see that picture and it'll be exactly what they needed, because it will contain the vibrational quality. It will contain the colors that you've been channeled from the other side. Everything will come to you. Just go with that flow. There's nothing better than art for tuning in.
I
That's all.
love that so much. I had some things coming to me while I was looking at your question and listening to Jay. Um, And Jackie, one of the things that came up, and this is really funny, I almost said, what? I don't even believe in those. I had this sense of you having a real connection to sort of elementals, this sort of connection to innocence and joy and the bubbling up of almost like elves and pixies, that kind of energy. But actually, when I sort of tuned in and said, is this what I'm tuning into? Actually, no, what really came up for me was animals and children. Those beings that aren't complicated, those beings that are simple, that they're just, in particular animals. I really feel that you could probably have a conversation with your animals, and I completely agree with Jay that you're doing what you need to be doing with the artwork, and that's absolutely beautiful. But you're asking, how to channel seriously, or I'm in my own words, I'm thinking you're asking, how can I refine my channeling skills or make them even stronger? I think you can tune into animals, and I think the wisdom that you'll get from animals, or in particular children, or possibly even old people who aren't in the kind of real mind state, people who are still in that state of innocence and haven't had it kind of forced on them, or people who are returning back to innocence. I remember when I met Carl's dad, he'd pretty much lost it. He looked at me, and the look in his eye meant, oh my goodness, I'm looking at an angel. And it was so funny. I swear to God, he thought I was like someone from, the other side. I feel that old people, young people, and animals really see the truth of things, and I think you can tune into them as well. So
I totally get that, and I love that, Louisa. That's brilliant. Fabulous.
There's more coming from that, actually. So Jackie's also added, thank you, Jay. My heart is beating fast because I know this is right. I've often felt whilst painting that it's, absolutely. That's how you know that it's channeling, because
it is. Yes.
It doesn't feel like you making the brush strokes.
Yeah, it truly is. And again, here we are connecting with the heart, because my heart's going as well. So our vibration is raising as we're talking, and as we are having these wonderful conversations. I just think it's brilliant, because I'm tingling and my heart's going and I'm feeling brilliant. And that's a good zone to be in, So thank you, Jackie, and everybody else, really, for being here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm wondering if somehow these messages are getting blocked, because I can see that we've got lots of people watching, but nobody actually coming forward and saying, hey up, I've got a question. So please don't be shy. If you've got a question, please do let us know. Otherwise, Jay and I will just talk about intuitive stuff and maybe channel in for a message for humanity right now. I'm sure we can do that. That's not out of bounds, is it? I know I feel something brewing myself. So like, if you do have anything on your mind, just pop in. Also, let us know where you're listening in from. It's always really helpful for us to know, where in the world. We've got Nubianet is joining us from, I think, is it California? I think you can go into your settings and let Moaz in. Oh, thank you very much. Let me just see if I can find my settings.
Brilliant. Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Banned guests. Oh, there's no banned guests. I haven't actually banned him.
No banned guests. Oh, maybe he's had a glitch his side. This happens, doesn't it?
Not unless it says that he's blocked, but I really mean to. Not unless Carl did accidentally. And poor thing, I hope he doesn't think I'm terribly rude. I know Carl has had that experience of blocking people accidentally in the middle of a show. So
I'm glad you guys are doing the technology, because I'm absolutely rubbish at it. I can just about work my phone. I'm terrible at this. So thank God for you two.
Nubianet is saying Carl has done this a few times. I know he has, because I've heard him go, oh no, live on one of his morning shows. Jennifer from Texas is saying, I'm a strong believer in everything will always be okay and work out as it should. However, I'm feeling a bit stuck, like things are in a holding pattern with love, work, money, self-care. And her question is quite simply, how do I get unstuck?
Oh God, that's a brilliant one. Have you got anything on that, Louisa? Do you get anything? I know I do.
The first thing, I think, Jennifer, instantly when I heard you say, how do I get unstuck? My first instinct is you have to do something that you love rather than do something that you think you have to do. So the first thing, I mean, obviously you're talking about love, work, money, self-care. And yes, we do have to do money. We do have to do love in some way. We do have to do work, and we do have to do self-care. You know, they feel like have tos. But I think the first step for you, Jennifer, to get unstuck, and I'm closing my eyes just so that I can really almost feel like I'm really, really tuning in. Yeah, I think get that feeling of what you really love. Get that feeling of the freedom of what you love, and if you can feel that freedom, first of all, like, and I don't know what it is for you. So the kind of feeling that I'm describing would feel fresh, would feel natural, would feel like you were laughing. It would feel like it was erupting from your heart. And I feel green, possibly because, you know, I said fresh and natural. And so maybe, you know, it feels outdoors. I don't know if that's where you feel like you're in your best feeling place. But whatever it is that you feel like you love, and whatever makes your heart feel like you're about to laugh out loud. And I don't know if there's a time recently when that's happened, or if you can think of several times. I know I've got a couple of key memories in my little memory bank of where I felt awesome. The pause there was because I was about to swear. I was going to say something awesome. And I thought, no. So it's like when you feel awesome, you know, that kind of feeling of, oh my goodness, this is, I just don't feel any better than this. If you, I know you've had these times when you felt absolutely awesome like that, and maybe you can find a time, find a memory, find that moment where you felt that awesome without work, without money, without love, and without self-care. If you have that kind of resource, that kind of memory resource of feeling awesome and knowing that you are at the source of your feeling good, that is the best way to get unstuck. Like, if you can hold on to that, feel it, like play it in your mind, feel the feelings all over your body, just as it played out in the original, and kind of breathe with it, feel it. To me, I think it's an energetic, and of course it is, because you're talking about stuck, and stuckness is, you know, like, something that I recognize with stuckness is it's akin to death. And I know that sounds really crazy. Going back to nature now, plants, they are fluid, they move, they have water in, they're flexible, you know, they're limber. Even trees, you know, they have a certain amount of, you know, they're not solid, they're not going to, you know, they're not desiccated. When things get stuck, they're desiccated, they're drying out, and they stop moving, and eventually they die. And so whatever is feeling stuck, you want to move it. And the way you move it is to put life back into it by the absolute best feeling you've ever experienced by yourself, you know, that's generated from your heart, that feels like you're laughing out loud. Could have been when you know, I've got so many ideas of where those feelings come from, Jennifer, but I think it's really important that you tune into what works for you. And I think as you do that, and then think about work, or then, I don't know, just take that moment and enjoy yourself. I just think the next step will become obvious. Something will happen and you'll go, oh, okay. I mean, that's what I do now, in fact, and I've been doing this for years now, or at least 2 or 3 years, is that if something's not working, if I'm stuck on something, I actually just put my pens down, turn my computer off, go and sit down. I just do something else, because the moment I start doing something else and I like disconnect from that must do this right now feeling, all of a sudden something else comes up. And sometimes I actually find out that the thing I thought I needed to do, I never needed, you know, I find out I never needed to do it. I actually once did a maternity cover for a really large charity in London. And I was doing it for 9 months, and there were loads of jobs I was supposed to do, and I did all of them bar one. And this one was a really important one, also, I thought, and I didn't do it for 6 months. And I was getting really worried that I was going to get found out, and it just wasn't my forte. I really thought I was going to get busted. And actually what happened was, nobody had mentioned it. Nobody busted my ass about it, because it just wasn't that necessary. Often we think there are things we need to do. And so rest, feel good, and I think the rest will start to happen. I know you've been tuning in, Jay. What's
something to I'm jumping up and down here. I am, because I turned around at one point and I had to go for this, right? This is my
Are you going to
This-
answer your crystal?
I'm going to point the crystal. It's a Vogel crystal, and it's for what is it? It's a 24. It's got 24 facets, and so I feel that I work with this crystal personally because it's just it looks gorgeous. It's amazing, and for me, it's a wonderful conduit for me to channel. Kind of, I don't really know. I mean, just see what you feel, Jen. Because I'm getting really strongly as well that water is important to you. So drink water. But I feel swim in the ocean if you can. I know it's probably cold. I don't even know what it's like where you are at the moment, but I feel water is very cleansing. When we're stuck, we're not really stuck. We just think we are, but we've just stopped moving. You have been moving very quickly in a lot of areas, is what I'm feeling. And it's like this crystal is attuned to the vibrational frequency of water. So I am now sending you water all the way through into your heart and all the way down and up and through you and around you. And I'm going to use this crystal to transfer that energy to you. And if you can feel it all the way through you, from your head all the way down through all of your chakras, and I'm going to ask now that the ice that is within you is now unfrozen and begins to melt slowly so that you do not feel stuck. You begin to flow again. Now, that's not me doing it for you. I'm asking you to visualize, because I'm feeling you feel stuck, and you're stuck on the idea of being stuck. And it's just like water is water sometimes, and sometimes it's steam, and sometimes it's ice, and it can melt. And you're in a stage at the moment where you've gone into the ice stage, which is absolutely normal. And you've been going so fast that you've kind of come into a little backwater. And for you, who's used to doing, is how it feels to me. You've come into a place where it feels a little bit, oh my God, what? Oh, it's a bit scary. So I'd say just embrace it, sit with it, and I would go swimming. Get into water, drink water, stick a crystal in your water as well, and just focus on this beauty. And I'm going to zoom white light all the way straight through to you. And we're going to unblock that energy right now, and you're going to find your heart and what works for you. And the flow has now already begun.
I love that. That's wonderful. I love that. Let us know how you're feeling, Jennifer, after that. That's right. Wonderful. Maybe you could do that for all of us at the end, Jay. I love that.
Yeah. I'll crystal you all.
That sounds beautiful. Funnily enough, on a similar line, we've got Rose Gold joining us. Rose Gold, where are you from? Let us know. Hi, how can we raise the vibration of love during troubled times?
Isn't it?
I as a kind of like sidestep and as an additional comment to Jennifer, based on what Jay was saying about water, I was interviewing somebody the other day who was talking about water can be programmed, which I'm sure everyone listening into this already knows, right? And if you don't, then go and type in Masaru Emoto. Hang on, let's see if I can look him up and put a link.
Amazing.
Oops. Emoto, water pattern enlightenment. Here we go. Here's a link. So I'm going to pop it in the chat room. So if you're interested, have a look at this. Now, what he did these experiments with water. He froze water, funnily enough. He froze water with words like to represent vibrations. So love, hate, war, disease, joy, and things like that. And then like when he froze it, he then he got like a microscopic camera and took images of how the formations within the water were existing. And if you have a look at that project, you'll see that all of the beautiful vibrations are just beautiful. They're like individual snowflakes. They are so gorgeous. And also the weird and horrible ones, the fearful ones, the hate and anger and evil and war and words like that. They look parasitic. They look like infections. They really don't look very nice. So he showed us that water was programmable. And one of the things for Jennifer, but also for everyone really, is if obviously our cells are water, we've got cytoplasm that within every cell in our body that can be programmed. And so if you were to imagine, and in fact, I did a hypnotherapy track on this only last night, and I'm happy to share it with anyone. Just drop me your email address. We'll have to find a way that you could, if you want to have it, drop me an email. Hang on. That's supposed to be at Louisa Tanner Munson at gmail.com, and I will send you access to it so that you can tune in and imagine the vibration of love in every cell in your body, like reprogramming the water for it. So I just wanted to say that. Sorry for that. Rose Gold is coming to us from the UK, Shropshire, Wales border. So thank you. Jay, how can we raise the vibration of love during troubled times? Aside from what we've already mentioned.
I know it is. It's difficult to do sometimes, and I think when you're challenged, if you're tired, everybody gets down about things. And gosh, my personal take on it is: don't listen to any news, don't watch the news, don't read magazines, newspapers, media, blah blah blah. That's just my take on it. Some people love the news. I just will not. I haven't done for many years now, because that is so distressing to me as an empath as well. And I think there's many people out there who are empathic who can't take it either. So I don't invite anything into my day or my life as much as I possibly can. I don't invite anything in that's going to cause me to feel bad. Now, sometimes things just happen. So when I dip, I literally I have to sit with it, and I go with it. And then I just think, right, how am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling like, bleh, and I kind of acknowledge it, and I let it be. And then literally I just, it's like with anything. If you say to a 2-year-old who's having a temper tantrum, if you're trying to placate it, it'll go, as you well know, Louisa. But if you go, it's okay, you cry. I used to do this with my kids years ago. I say, go on, cry even harder. Oh, that's it, really. And then they'd end up laughing. And it's the same. You can do that with yourself in a way. You can actually raise your own vibration by allowing yourself to feel bad and not telling yourself off, not bad talking yourself, telling yourself off. Because everything we tell ourselves, as you quite rightly said, goes in there at cellular level. So if we do that now, it sounds crazy, but sometimes you have to do things that feel alien to you, but it's like exercising a muscle. So just saying to yourself, I'm a good girl. You know what? I'm really nice. I'm lovely. I'm really kind to people. I love my cats. I love my dog. I love this. I love that. Today I did something really nice for somebody, and just self-talk as well. And go outside and smell the flowers, get in touch with nature, paddle in some water, just sit and just, or get some aromatherapy oil and fill a bowl. It doesn't matter if it's the washing up bowl, stick your feet in it and just sit there with a big bar of chocolate. Anything that makes you feel good or better than where you're at currently is the way to raise your vibration. And it can start in tiny increments. You don't need to go and climb a mountain, in order to know a mountain. You can look at it from the bottom and still love it. You can do whatever you like, but as long as it makes you feel a bit better, you're climbing that ladder back up to, what we call a good place, from being really down and low. And I have to do that a lot these days, because, I get people ringing me, oh, have you heard about this, that, and the other? And I'm like, yes, I know it's going on, but I can't focus on it. It doesn't mean I don't care and I don't want to know, and I'm not in Pollyanna land, but some things I really cannot take. I prefer to just try and stay in a good place in my own heart and focus on feeling good and feeling better. Because like the molecules of water, when we do it for one, we do it for all. So it makes sense to do it for your own heart first and let that energy flow to everything else in your in your sphere of existence, and it will keep going. So does that help?
I think that's
Hopefully.
beautiful. I mean, rose gold, if I and Jay, if I may add, and I don't think I'm adding because I think I'm probably saying pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah, just
One
whatever.
thing I really pick up when I'm reading that, how can we raise the vibration of love during troubled times? One of the things I'm picking up there, rose gold, is almost that like sense of futility that if you don't do it, somehow it's not going to happen. That the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And I might be reading into it because I have that as well. I sometimes think, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I must do more, because if I don't do it, it's not, it's not going to happen. I think, like Jay said, we have a responsibility to feel good as much as possible. And if we're not feeling good, like we've got a course of action, we can do something to eliminate the feeling of feeling bad. And sometimes we need to cry and we need to let it out, and that's absolutely okay. And then we need to absolutely get into our zone again and find a way to, and sometimes you just have to take it a step at a time, which is actually the wisest way. And all of Jay's suggestions are perfect. The thing that I learned recently is that the natural state of being is to be feeling good. That is the natural state. I'm sure of that, like plants, animals, anything that humans don't mess with tend to feel good. Even if, like we get shown these like programs of animals killing each other and stuff, but they are actually in the flow of natural order. Things go wrong when we get involved and try and control things like we're some scientific experiment, and we're not. The thing that I remember now is I'm not doing it on my own. There are loads of people around us, but every single blade of grass, every single tree, every single plant, it's like a tuning fork. So like that blade of grass, where's my arm? There it is. That blade of grass is like a tuning fork. It's in its natural state of feeling good. It's in that natural state of awareness. And as I see it, like we might envisage light coming down, through our crown chakra, and that we might ground it. But every single blade of grass does that naturally, as is. Every tree does that. There's so much more doing it for us than we realize, and we're all working together. So do all you can to raise your vibration, and then the next step is just connect with everything else that's working with you. Absolutely. Even if you don't want to like speak to other people that might be doing it, and I love how Jay did her meditation, her opening cleanse at the start, the opening connection of the heart. That feeling of imagination that we're all doing it. That's actually what happens for me. Right now, I'm aware that there are little lights coming on all around the world all the time. The vibration on planet Earth is absolutely changing. Even, in fact, what is communicated about like wars and trauma and this, that, and the other, actually, it causes fear, obviously, and it causes a massive swing in emotions. But when those things get really bad, that's when a lot of people dig down and start to think, I've got to connect in now. If we didn't have all those awful things going on, we probably wouldn't feel that call to do something. So I absolutely feel it in my heart that it's already working, it's already happening. And pleasure doing duty with you, Rose Gold. Sorry, maybe an army thing's not a good I feel like call to action, like we're all soldiers of light or something, so yeah.
We're all blades of grass, standing to attention.
Yes, we are. We're all these like cosmic tuning forks of love.
And you know what? I also think that there's so many of us out there, we empaths and love workers, light workers, whatever you want to call yourself. And we are absolutely, every one of us worries so much about how we can do more. We do.
Yeah,
We take it upon ourselves, and we just think it's up to us because we're aware. Oh my God, I've got to do something. I've got to change something. What can I do? What more can I do? And, we're all exhausted. Many of us have been doing this for years now, not only trying to improve our own vibrational frequency in our own lives and heal our own wounds, but trying to do it for everybody else as well. And I think the time has come now where a lot of people, like Jen earlier, saying, I feel stuck. I felt it as well. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? And it is just to find that place now within me and to then radiate that love and that that energy which you can't see. There's no glory in this work. Nobody knows who you are or what you're doing. You're just radiating like a little tiny thing in your own house, and then you're thinking, well, nobody will see me or hear me. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you just do that and just know that that is going out there into the cosmos, it's enough. It really is, And
Yes.
trouble never. What was it? Mary Poppins used to say, "Never trouble till trouble troubles you." And what do? We go digging in and we go troubling trouble, and then go, "Oh, I'm upset now."
That is so true. That really is true. Well done for that. Oh, that's horrible. I wish I hadn't shared that. My husband, during the water talk, Peggy did a whoopsie on the office carpet. Go with the flow. Kick her out. Get that dog in the garden.
Go, Peggy. Go, Peggy.
Oh, thanks, Peggy.
She's tuned in, isn't she? Definitely.
Jennifer says, sounds like I'll be heading to the beach this weekend. That all makes sense. Thank you.
Oh,
and a big
wonderful.
Love that. Well done.
I wish I could go with you. I love the beach, and there's something really cleansing about salt water and about the beach. And I just get the feeling that I'm going to send Jen the frequency of number 16, which I'll explain that some other time, but just bear with me and just know that the frequency of 16 is coming your way, Jen, to go to the beach with you, and the dolphins are coming with you to bring you some joy. That is a real picture I've got in front of me. I've got leaping dolphins. Just feel the joy of them. Even if you don't see them, just know that they're there and their energy's there, full of joy. Okay?
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jane. We've heard from Moaz. He's okay. He hasn't got a grudge. He's watching the show. He's enjoying watching the show. I'm so pleased. Thank you.
I'm so pleased.
Newbie saying, yay, Mo is still connected. So it's a big old love. Newbie is saying, I listen to programs like yours to feel good. You can't be passive regarding being positive.
I love that. That is so true. Absolutely. Rose Gold, thank you.
And Moaz is saying, hey, I'm back. I'm out of YouTube jail. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Was just considering which is realer in me, love or troubled times. Well, let me know, Carl. I would like to know. I'm hoping it's love, but we never know. Let's have a look. Simon. Oh, I'm thinking Simon Salomon is another. What are they called? Those trolley type things. It's somebody just trying to spam our chat. You've been saying you're in the blocked club. So it looks like the questions have run out, and that's kind of cool. Should we? What would you like to? If there was a message that you wanted to share right now, like a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks since we last connected, right, Jay? What message is instantly coming to you for the next 2 weeks? And I'll see if I can tune in, and then maybe we'll just shut this thing down.
Yeah, I could be here all night. I'm loving this. But yeah, let me think about this. It's just literally, I suppose, the first thing that comes to mind is don't give up. Don't feel that just because you feel stuck or you're not moving fast or him over there's doing that and you're not, and they're doing this and they've got more money than me or they haven't got any, it's like try and focus just on your heart. And every time you feel yourself going off the path, it's like see yourself on a little golden path, as if you're walking a tightrope, but you're enjoying it. It's fun, like a child would. And then you kind of slip off the path, and it's like just imagine yourself going back into your heart. Just see your heart and see this golden thread running through you, and hold on to that like a pole on a carousel horse. Jump back on the carousel horse. That's what I would say. And then just keep riding round on that horse. And then in the week, what you can do is you can visualize your own carousel horse. That's my thing, you see. And you can color it whichever color you want it to be. And it can be whatever name you want to give it. But as soon as you feel yourself falling, just grab that golden pole and up and down and round you go. And just know that everything is in its place and all is well. There you go.
That's lovely. I love that a lot. I don't think mine is as visual. Actually, my sense, I love what Jay's saying about, you know, like you need to kind of grab on and stay really positive in who you are right now and know that you are enough, like exactly enough. I'm also seeing that we've got the new moon tomorrow, and I'm actually going to do a video tomorrow morning and maybe one a little bit later on, because we've got some rather cool astrology. We've got coming up in mid-April, we've got Jupiter and Neptune coming together in the sign of Pisces, and they only do this every 13 years. They come together, but this is the first time they've been together in the sign of Pisces for over like 2 lifetimes.
Wow.
And the three energies, I won't talk about too much, but like Neptune is a spiritual healer and cleanser, and is absolutely about the infinite merge. Jupiter is about hope and optimism and luck and being in the right place at the right time, and about us expanding our knowledge. And the energy of Pisces is about the unconscious mind. So I'm seeing this great big kind of what's the word, like a wave of awakening coming. And so the new moon tomorrow at 5:34 p.m, that's London time. If you go to timeanddate.com and look at the new moon, if you go into moon phases, it will tell you what time it happens where you are. But what I would advise everyone does is just think about something they'd like to intend or wish for or focus on at the time of the new moon. The new moon is all about growth, like going into a new growth period. I'm getting ready to plant some more seeds, literally in my garden. I only do it between new and full moon, not the other way around. So you're using that growth energy. Well, what I would really say is, let's shut this down. And while we're doing it, imagine that we've all got energy for each other's successful bringing about of a new change. Let's focus on our own goals, and also giving energy to each other, you know, being of service to each other so we feel connected. So Jay, are you happy to kind of close us down energetically?
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean like that. You know, the way you did when you this morning, this afternoon, evening.
This evening, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what planet I'm on at the moment. So yeah, I'd just like to say as well to anybody listening that happens to be in the UK or Wales in particular, where I live, it's St. David's Day, and so it's all daffodils and dragons and lovely energy. And I don't even know what St. David did actually. I must look it up. But it always brings to me the feeling of spring and this beautiful outbursting of this daffodil. So I think that's how we'll close it. We'll dedicate this to St. David, whoever he is, and thank him for whatever it was he did with the dragon. And just close our eyes and just, you know, do whatever you feel to get you into the zone. And just feel your heart. Just breathe quietly. And take a breath and go into your heart and just feel that in that heart is the most beautiful seed. We can all plant that seed in each other's hearts here and now. So I'm giving mine to the next. Oh,
what was that?
Wow. I don't know what that was. Well, that's confirmation, if you like. I don't know what it was.
That was some psychic energy, Jay. What happened? Who planted a seed in your house?
Whoa, blimey. I was going to swear, but no, I'll try and keep it clean. Sorry. Well, maybe that was what was needed, because I planted that seed, and I'm planting that. I'm giving everybody a seed here and saying, just plant this seed in your heart and just water it and get that water in there. The water energy is important at the moment. So let's water that seed, give it loads of loving sunshine and warmth in the heart. And then we watch it coming up, and it is the most beautiful golden daffodil. And it's coming up really quickly because we are growing so quickly these days. And we're going to nurture it and see it come out, and its beautiful golden face is shining. And that golden love and that yellow and that springtime and that positivity and energy. And the green is the heart. So connect with the heart and the solar plexus. And let's just focus on planting those seeds all week and see how many daffodils we can grow between us. And then bless everybody for being here tonight. Thank you so, so much. I wish you all so much love. I really do. Thank
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. We've got we've got some more messages for people just saying goodbye. Oh, Carl is saying troubled times is only an idea, only love is real.
Oh,
Bingo. I love that.
bingo. Yes.
Moaz is saying, Louisa, for me, Jay and Rick Purcell are my favorite guests. They bring me so much comfort and inner peace. Well,
Wow. Thank you so much. That means
that is
so much
wonderful.
to me. Yeah.
I should share with you, Moaz. Rick and I aren't actually meeting tomorrow. I'm going to do an astrology show instead. It's just it's the yearly Nyepi festival in Bali, and it's really cool. Actually, I'll just tell you what what Nepi's about. Nepi on the new moon in Pisces in Bali. What they do is all of the locals build these massive demons, like these massive demon monsters. And then they take them down to the beach and they burn them and have this massive festival. And they send all of the charred remains out to sea. And then they all go home. And then they turn their lights off and they shut all their windows and they shut their doors. And the next day they do nothing. Like that's what happens on Bali. And the reason being is if there's any demons left, they think that all the humans have gone and they clear off and leave the island for a year. And so tomorrow, Rick is actually involved in the Nepi celebrations, but we'll be back the following week. And Jay, you and I will be back in 2 weeks, won't we?
We will, absolutely. Yeah. Try and stop me.
We've got Annie Lloyd joining us. It's saying lovely positive chat. I've seen this past 2 weeks as being an opportunity for clearing. Whether it worked for you depends if you did the work. There's something in that.
Yeah.
My pen ran out today writing my releases for tomorrow's new moon. I think that's a great idea. I always think, I used to be really religious in writing my intentions for the new moon. And now I've got 3 kids. It's almost impossible. So like sometimes Carl and I will just say, oh, what are you doing for the new moon? And I will be doing them when I'm in my shower, in my, just thinking about them. I think it is enough to be. And sometimes I think them ahead of time and think, this thinking that I'm having now is for 5:34 in the afternoon at the time of the new moon. And just try and connect it that way. I think you'll be fine, Annie. Thanks for joining as well. Yikes, Kim Bean on the beans.
Oh, excuse me. That is so funny.
Carl is quite funny. Vitor, who's coming, I think from Porto in the north of Portugal, is saying woohoo. Jackie Grant is giving us a prayer heart thing. That's lovely.
I love
Nubianet is saying, I'll have to watch the replay since I missed most of this. Thank you. You're very welcome. Anytime.
Bless you.
Provided it's like every 2 weeks. Jennifer saying, thank you. Have a wonderful week ahead. And to you too, Jennifer.
You too.
Oh, and Moaz is saying, looking forward to tomorrow's show. So I am actually going to have to get out of bed now. So never mind. So anyway, thank you for joining us, whether you joined us live today or whether you're like listening to the replay. If you are listening to the replay, what I would say is the energy and the intention that we're creating here isn't just a one-time only event, is it, Jay? Like the heart opening, the heart closing, the feeling of creating intentions for everybody and feeding everybody's seeds, like the idea of us connecting. Yes. That happens whether it's now or later. Yes. I see this collective. It's almost like we've drawn an etheric line in the sand, or like put a little flag in some ether somewhere. So you are absolutely welcome to join us. Jay has got her crystal. In fact, as we say goodbye, do you want to send that energy to us all?
I'm going to fill this beautiful crystal with all the love that I can possibly fill it with, and ask the great mother of all creation and all of the good things in life to just be directed through this crystal to everyone watching. I can't get there. There you go. To everyone watching. And may you all have the most amazing week with so much love. There you go. You have to do that bit, you see. You've got to go, because that sends it.
That's perfect. Right, on that bombshell, I think it's time to go. Got to put the kids to bed now. So wish me luck. Lots and lots of love to you, wherever you are in the world. Bye for
Bye,
now.
everyone. Thank you for joining us.